what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of the show Built with VAs with me, Valentina Brega, your host. I'm so excited to be here and to continue our mini-series on how to pay a virtual assistant. We already addressed topics such as how much you should be paying them and how to structure the payment. And today we will look at what platforms to use and what are all the intricacies that every platform has. What are the fees, what platform works for what country, and so on. So if you have a virtual assistant already in your company and you might be wondering that you're paying way too much in fees to send their salary, you have to watch this episode. And if you don't have a virtual assistant because you're not sure exactly how to pay them, then you have to watch this episode too. In any case, let's get right to this. Let's go. So depending on where your VA is from, you will be using different websites to pay their salaries. Now, there are a couple of websites that I'm going to mention today. I'm sure there's more. There might be some that I'm not yet familiar with. So if you have some websites that work for you really well, please put them in the comments so everybody else can see that. But I'll tell you what I'm using for my company and what has been working, I think, pretty well so far. So I will be looking at what is less of a headache to use, what platform fees they have, and what works for what different regions. So I'm going to start with the Philippines. Probably about 50% of the staff in my company, they come from the Philippines. And for that, we use a website called wise.com. I will leave all of the links, everything that I'm mentioning, I will leave them somewhere in the description. So why I like Wise? It's very easy to set up. It's very intuitive, and the virtual assistants get their money pretty fast. I also like the fact that the exchange rate is pretty good. So it works great for the Philippines. It's you just put the information once and then it stores the information there. So when you're ready to pay, you just put the amount, select the person you're paying to, and send it. That's it. And the virtual assistant usually gets it within seconds or minutes or maybe up to 24 hours, but I honestly it's been minutes for us in our company. And regarding the payment, the fees that they have, I'm usually charged 1% of the fee that I'm sending. Again, that's for the Philippines. Different countries will charge you differently. So if you have VAs in the Philippines and you're not using Wise, look into this option. So Wise works great for the Philippines, but it doesn't work very well for countries in Latin America. We have had virtual assistants from, let's say, Nicaragua, Honduras, Argentina, Mexico, and Wise didn't really work there. So for that part of the world, we use Remitly.com. I like it too. It's also very fast. It can be fast. I'm going to get into that in a second. How does that compare to Wise? I think, again, depending on the countries that I used, I think overall Wise has better exchange rate. But Remitly, like I said, it works very, very well in Latin American countries. It has been the case for us. It has two ways of sending payments. It has an express way, and you can also they can receive the payment within 7 days. And if you choose to go the express route, then the exchange rate is going to be less than if you were to choose the traditional route, which is wait 7 days. So that's what I don't really like about Remitly, is because you have to wait, or if you do it express, it's usually a lot less the exchange rate than what you would have with Wise. So even though Remitly works for the Philippines as well, I prefer to use Wise for the Philippines, which I mentioned previously. And Remitly, because it works great for Latin American countries, that's probably the only option that I have so far that worked seamlessly. It still works great. People still get the money. We haven't had any issues. The thing with Remitly, though, there's a limit of how much you can send per year. And once you exceed that limit, if you have just 1 or 2 VAs, that should not be a problem. If you're a company like a bigger company that hires multiple tens of virtual assistants, then you might have to increase that limit that you can send per year, which is actually done pretty easily. You send a request form, you get on a call with them, and it's not an issue at all. So both of these websites, in terms of how easy it is to use, both of them are great. So how much does Remitly charge you when you send money? It's not usually a percentage. It's usually a flat fee. So whenever I send money using Remitly, I pay $3.99. So this is as of today, the end of 2023. I don't know when you watch this video, but as of right now, this is typically what I pay. So Wise is a percentage, usually 1%. Remitly is a flat fee. Okay, now I will also hire people from Egypt, and we hire virtual assistants from Egypt as well. This is a good source of finding very good talent too. When it comes to paying people in Egypt, this is a little bit tricky. Remitly doesn't work there. Wise works, but their fee is so much higher for Egypt. And we also tried different other platforms, but what we found out that works best for that part of the world is Payoneer. Payoneer is a little bit harder to set up. It's not that hard, but I think their customer service is, could be a little bit better. But once you have an account, it's pretty easy from there. Payoneer charges you 1% as well, which is good. It is, the way it works, it's the VA will get a notification that you send the money, but they will actually get the money a couple of days later. Most people in Egypt, if you work with VAs from that area, they're very well familiar with Payoneer. They have accounts. So from out of everything we tried for that part of the world, Payoneer works the best. Okay, then I have people on my team who are from Bangladesh and people who are from Pakistan. None of the things that I mentioned so far work for that part of the world. Instead, what works very well is Western Union. So westernunion.com. Why I like Western Union is because it charges you a flat fee and it's a very small fee, which I really like. Regardless of how much money you're sending, if you're sending it to Pakistan, it is 99 cents. If you're sending it to Bangladesh, it's $1.99. So typically the fee is between this amount of money. We tried using Western Union for Egypt, but again, you have to know which country. Play around with this. It's a good program. It works very well, but for Egypt, it cost us about $12. So it's too much. So again, if you have people in Egypt, Payoneer works best. Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, we also use that. Western Union has a very good fee for that. And I think that's pretty much covered the main geographical regions where you can get virtual assistants and how much you should pay them. I will leave all the links here below so you can find them. A lot of people say, well, what about PayPal? PayPal is universally works well. You could use PayPal. The problem with PayPal is it usually charges more. It charges you more and it also charges the virtual assistant more. So it's not the most ideal payment of method. And then from PayPal, transferring money into your bank card, debit card, then you also have to pay a fee. So it's not the most ideal system to pay a virtual assistant. Again, the websites mentioned are wise.com, remitly.com, payoneer.com, and westernunion.com. Let us know, what are you using? Maybe there's something else that you use that works perfectly, seamlessly, easily, and it's easy to integrate and so on. We would all love to learn more about that. And so leave me a comment or get in touch with us and I will update this episode. I'll come back here again and talk about the updated version. In any case, thanks for tuning in. Now you know what to use to pay your VA, and if you're not using any of these websites, look into them. And if you have any questions, get in touch with me. I'll see you soon.